Alright, what is going on, guys? My name is Leon Master, and welcome back to another tier list with the main tanks, the tank duos, off tanks obviously is that as well, with Season 2. Obviously we've been doing a lot of Season 3 stuff recently. Now let's jump back to Season 2 for a little bit and continue this little tier list series, I guess you could call what we are doing. So anyways, here's all the players with this one, and then on to our actual tier list. These are the ones I already have down. Basically, in my other Season 3 tier list, it's kind of like the same area in general. If you want to hear my opinions on these guys as well, I definitely recommend clicking the link below on my Season 3 tank duos as well. It's the same thing. And before I go on to this tier list, I want to say that this is my opinion. Let me repeat, my opinion. This list does not affect your life at all. It's just here to, have my opinions out there. Let's have the respectful comments. Let's please have that. And like I said, this does not affect your life at all, so don't treat it like it is affecting your life. Now let's go and jump with the first one, the Boston Uprising with RCK and Fusions. And in general, these guys had a pretty season. RCK definitely had a lot of issues with Boston Uprising with his off tank and a little bit of his Sombra as well. Stage 4 came around and he had eye problems, which is very important. You should not, let that go by. Fusions also kind of fell off near the end of the season as well, stage 3-ish, 4-ish. Whenever Ryan stopped being hardcore meta and whenever Winston was being used more in GOATs, that's when Fusions kind of fell off, and especially in stage 4 as well. And even overall, this tank duo, it didn't do the best, but I wouldn't say it's the worst. I definitely think it did below average. I don't think it did awful, in my opinion. I don't think it did F tier wise. I know a lot of people could say it did, but in my opinion, I see it as a D, not below average though. Then on to the Dallas Fuel. We got OG and Note, and when Note first got signed to the team, everyone said this was a top 5 duo, which it was at the time, because stats-wise, it was how they were playing. It was stage 2 as well. Sideshow, Brian, they even said it themselves when it happened. These were a great tank duo, but then obviously stage 3, stage 4 came around. They haven't won games in forever. And the tank duo just did not end up being that good. It really didn't. It didn't really win in games for them. No ended up not playing that much D.Va because obviously D.Va was not meta. And then OG was playing very inconsistent. He even wanted to leave the team at some point, but he couldn't because the deadline was there. The team was just pretty bad, and this tank duo was not performing the best together. That's why they now have Gamsu, which I think is going to do very well for the Dallas Fuel. It just did not end up working out, but their time playing with each other still, I don't think it was awful. I don't think it was. I don't think it was F tier level. I still think it ended up being very well for them. It could have been worse. It could have been OG Mickey. It really could have been worse. I definitely think it's D tier, below average in my opinion, as well with the Boston Uprising tank duo. That's just my opinion. Then on to the next one, we got Guangzhou Charge, Hoppa, and also Rio. And this one's another weird one, another inconsistent one as well. Stages 1 and 2, very inconsistent for the team. And then 3, they looked a little bit better, and 4 was their, I guess you could say breakout a little bit. And this tank duo was very interesting. They had a lot of up and down moments. Hoppa had some inconsistent games. Then Rio did as well. I still think Rio could get upgraded as well with the Guangzhou Charge for Season 3. It was just a weird tank duo. It really was. I don't think it's down here before any of y'all worry about this one. They still ended up bringing it back pretty hard for them to even go in playoffs, which is very impressive, honestly, especially with Hoppa and Rio. And them going to playoffs and bringing it back makes me want to rank them higher, and that will go to above average. Not A, because of the inconsistencies, and especially not S as well. I definitely think they're better than average. They're above average. Then on to the next one, we got Houston Outlaws, Muma, and Spree, and Houston Outlaws has had weird things going on in general. Like, Muma was not performing that good at all compared to Season 1. Spree, he was better than Coolmat, like, by a little bit. Coolmat did not perform that well at all this season. I think everyone can agree on that one. Just this tank duo looked bad. It just was not performing as well as everyone thought it would be. I definitely think the Boston Uprising tank duo could beat this duo as well. It's just, I want to rank them here, but here as well. I'm going to rank them F, because that's why I feel like I should do. Spree only had some good games here and there. Muma, I can't really think of a good game what Muma did. Spree, I can think of some maybe, but not specifically. I can remember some things he did. But just, I was not a fan of the Houston Outlaws tank duo as well. It just wasn't that good. Then we got the London Spitfire, Gesture, and Fury. And this tank duo ended up also bringing it back like the Guangzhou Charge. Stage 1 was pretty rough for the London Spitfire for a little bit, getting used to GOATs for a little bit. And Fury, may I say, Fury performed way better than we thought he would. We thought the last year was his peak, kind of. But Season 2, he beat that, and Fury was just insane. He's going to do so good on the Philadelphia Fusion. Gesture, he was inconsistent, but also brought it back, and them bringing it back pretty hard makes him go to A. Not S, because obviously they had some inconsistent moments, and that makes him go down to A. Fury just did so much on the Atlanta Spitfire. If they didn't have Fury, I think Gesture and whoever else it could be could end up being here or something. And Fury did so good of Gesture season 2. I just think it's fair to put him A. And just Fury did so much work in the Ghost meta. Then onto the LA Gladiators, we have Roar and Void. And may I say, a lot of people say Roar was bad on the Gladiators, which blows my mind, which he didn't do that bad. Like a lot of people make it seem like. Roar obviously had inconsistent games, but it wasn't like a lot. Like, obviously, they had some every now and then. Stage 1 was pretty rough for Roar, not gonna lie. Stages 2, 3, 4, he still had some of those games, but still performed very well. Yes, I could also agree that it was probably the weakest part of the LA Gladiators, but not awful like everyone treated it like it was. I don't think it's A and S, but I do think it's B. I don't understand the hate beside Roar. He still did what he had to do as a main tank, put the bubbles in the right places, shield. Everything he did as a main tank, he did his job well, but some games, he just didn't do it. Now on to the LA Valiant, we got Fact, Fiction, and Space. And these guys were very well together, honestly. Fact Fiction came in. I was a big fan of Fact Fiction. If you guys have been here for a while, you guys do know I was a big fan of him coming in with his shot calling, how he looked on Mayhem Academy. I was just very excited for this move, and it ended up working tremendously for the LA Valiant with him coming in now that they didn't have Fate. It just worked out very well, especially besides Space. Space was still playing very consistent, so much consistently, and Fact was there as well. Fact did have a lot of kind of inconsistent games. If they started losing, Fact wasn't performing well. You could tell he wasn't shot calling as well, which makes me want to bring down the rank a little bit even more. But like, these guys performed very well with each other. Fact was insane, and if Fact didn't have those moments where he stopped talking, they could be pretty high up there. But Space there as well, Fact, it just makes him above average. I could see some people ranking him average, but like Fact brought so much to the team I feel like the people don't think of, and it blows my mind. Then we're on NYXL, another obvious one, Mano and Meko. What's bad to say about this tank though? These guys have been consistent every game, even in season 1 when they almost didn't even have backups at this point. Obviously they had Yanis in for Mano, but either way Mano played more games compared to Yanis every time. Mano and Meko had no substitutes, no backups, and performed well every time. And it sucks that they haven't gone to the grand finals because they're just a great tank duo. And I hope to see Meko do well on this new team, but I don't think it'll be like an NYXL level. Then on to the next one, we got Paris Eternal, LH Cloudy, and Finzi. And I think this one's an obvious one. Straight the F tier. I don't see anyone else can rank him higher. Maybe below average. That's the best I could see. But LH Cloudy and Ben Best almost looked identical, in my opinion. They almost looked the same. Same thing with Ryan, Winston. Obviously, Cloudy's ball was a little bit better because he practiced that way more. And Finzi, on the other hand, had a lot of potential, in my opinion. In the beginning of the season, Finzi looked like he could be one of the better off tanks, and that fell off very fast. Very, very fast at the Paris Eternal. And it sucked to see that because Finzi does have potential, and he won't be in the league next season, what it looks like. This tank, though, did not work out that well, and tanks are very important for the entire team in general. LH Cloud didn't really pull through that well, especially with Paris Eternal. I definitely think he will do decent on the Gladiators as a sub, most likely. LH Cloud and Finzi just were not good. I don't think they were that good at all. Then on the Philadelphia Fusion, we got Sato and Poco. And Poco is a great player, but Sato was doing so much weird stuff in this season, which blows my mind with the stuff he did. Died way too many times, overextended way too many times, and that brings down it a little bit. Poco also had some inconsistent games, not a lot. He was definitely the best out of the duo for sure. You can't beat that one. His Sigma was pretty good at the end of the season. His Diva was on point. Everything he played was on point a little bit. And him Saddle being there, it brings him down overall as well. And their overall season didn't really help him that much as well with this tank line. And I know a lot of people is obviously going to disagree with me here, but Sato being here just kind of hurts it as well because Poco also had to worry about Sato a lot and couldn't really help his team that much of damage or just peeling in general. I think it's C, but also average. I want you to keep that in mind. That's why it's right here. C is average on this tier list. A lot of people keep forgetting about that. That's why the words are right there. Then on to the next one, we got Marvel and Michelle. And this was a tank duo we didn't expect to do that well. Marvel came in, we thought Fisher was going to start. Michelle came in. A lot of people didn't really know that much about Michelle, but he came in very underrated, and he's still kind of underrated today, but people know how good he is. Marvel ended up being insanely good out of nowhere. He just played ball with the team, and it just goes to an A. Like, I can't think of one inconsistent moment from Marvel. Maybe a few of Michelle, not a lot, maybe 1 or 2 games, and that was him mostly being on the Sombra, not the off-tank. But when it came to his off-tank, Diva, Zarya, whatever he played, it was very good as well beside Marvel. It just helped Soul Dynasty a lot. And we all thought Fisher was going to play, and Marvel came in and just was way better. Then on to the Shanghai Dragons, we have Gamsu and Envy. And Gamsu was great for the Shanghai Dragons. They tried their best to put everything with Gamsu on his ball. And when 222 came in, Envy didn't really help the problem, honestly. I think Envy was not the best. I feel like a lot of people could agree with that one as well. Envy fell off a lot after he got on Toronto Defiant because he's never hit that peak again like he did on the LA Valiant and also Metabellum. He looked so good on those teams, and it wasn't really the same at that point. Gamsu was still very good, and whenever it wasn't 222, they tried their best to keep Gamsu on that ball and having 3 DPS, and it worked. It did work. But whenever Envy came in, it did not work. It really didn't, and that makes me put him down a lot. And Gamsu and Envy also didn't really work that well together, and it showed a lot in my opinion. It's really hard to rank him right now because I think Gamsu makes me want to put him up here, but Envy just did not perform that well, and I definitely think that also their overall season. I think the overall season with Envy and Gamsu as well. I want to rank him here, but like I said, Envy ruins it a lot, and I'm gonna put him in C. Like I know a lot of people are obviously gonna hate that one, but like it's almost true at this point. Then on to the next one, we got Toronto Defiance, Yakpeng, and Gods. In another obvious one, it's F. It's just Gods came in, and don't get me wrong, Gods was actually performing decently well with the Toronto Defiant, knowing what was going on with the team. There was a lot of internal issues. Gods was performing decent for a team that did pretty bad. And their main tank situation was not the best as well yet. And they had Sharik coming in. On paper, it looked like it was going to do well with Gods, and it looked like Toronto Defiant was going to have a huge upgrade, but it just didn't, and they still used Yakpeng way more than Sharik. And Yakpeng did his own things. It just did not work for the team as well. Toronto Defiant, just in general, was not ready for Overwatch League at this point. Obviously, they're a whole different team at this point, still having Roki. Yakpeng and Gods just did not work together. Gods still, he tried his best. Like I could see him trying his best in the games. Did not work out. Yakpeng, he just did his own things. Like I said, he just did his own things. Didn't really play as a team. I don't know what Yakpeng was doing. Then I'll tell you the next one. We got Vancouver Titans, Bumper, and Janu. In another obvious one, even if it was Tizzy and Janu, it's on S tier. Bumper did so much with Janu. They went with each other, got out of each other, peeled very well for each other as well. Tizzy came into the playoffs with his Orisa because obviously Bumper's Orisa's not compared to Tizzy's that well. And Tizzy coming in as well helped them so much in the playoffs, made them go to the grand finals as well. It was just an obvious tank deal going to S tier. It's just an obvious one. I definitely think they just deserve S tier. Then on to the Washington Justice. We got Yanis and Sam. And if you guys have been here for a while, you guys know my opinions at Sam at the beginning of the season. I thought you could have definitely found an upgrade. But near the end, Stage 3, Stage 4, Sam got a huge upgrade just single-handedly. He just played very well. His diva got so much better out of nowhere. Then whenever he played Hog, mostly, that's when it would just kind of blew up for Sam. He played insanely well. Yanis also played better in Stage 4. I still don't know how people could say he didn't. But obviously his Ryan and his Winston were not that good. Obviously you can also put that on Corey because obviously Corey didn't have the greatest Zarya. You can also say that Sam and Ghostman was also doing his own thing, which ruins Yanis a little bit. But at the end of the day, they also brought a huge comeback like the Guangzhou Charge did in Stage 4, and it makes him go to average. If they didn't bring that huge comeback, they would most likely be F or D, depending on how they did. But they had a huge comeback, which makes them go to average. Then on to the next one, we got Fate and Zephyr. And honestly, I was really juggling what tank duos I wanted to do for Florida because they had Swan Zephyr, then Fate Zephyr, then like Swan Gargoyle, then Fate Gargoyle. They had a weird thing going on, so I just chose Fate Zephyr because that was like the season 2. Gargoyle wasn't played as much, like he will be next season most likely. But when it comes to Fate and Gargoyle, they did not work. That is an obvious one. They just did not work at all. And this one's another obvious one going straight to below average. Fate did not work well with Zephyr as he is with Gargoyle right now. Zephyr was just doing his own things. We all know we know how good Zephyr is at this point. Obviously he's bad, but like I said, Zephyr, I don't know what he was doing. Like Zephyr just did his own things. He C9'd the cart like multiple times, and it just blows my mind. And Fate and Zephyr, like I said, does not work. Fate did his own things as well because he had Zephyr on his team. Now that he has Gargoyle, it looks better. It's just the below average. You could maybe even argue F, which I don't blame you. So yeah, that is it with the Tank Duo Season 2 tier list. I know a lot of people could probably disagree in the average area, the C area. But like I said, this tier list does not affect your life, guys. So don't treat it like it is. I know a lot of people in the comment sections definitely do it, and it blows my mind. Anyways, that's going to be it for me. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to join my Discord down below. Also, don't forget to follow my Twitter and my Twitch. And don't forget to hit that bell. And don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe down below. And I'll see you guys on the next one.